The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Commander James Rivera stood in the heart of SETI's primary facility, watching as the crystalline signal patterns danced across the main display. After decades of searching the stars, humanity had finally received its answer. The Meridian, as they called themselves, came with promises of advanced technology and medical breakthroughs. "This is unprecedented," Dr. Marcus Wong whispered, his eyes fixed on the incoming data stream. "The mathematical complexity of their language, it's beautiful." Rivera nodded, but something in his gut told him to be cautious. 20 years in naval intelligence had taught him to look beyond the surface of things. Yet even he couldn't deny the excitement coursing through the scientific community as the Meridian shared glimpses of their technological achievements. The first physical contact came 3 months later. Their ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, each one a masterpiece of engineering that defied human understanding. The global response was a mixture of awe and apprehension, but the Meridian's diplomatic overtures seemed genuine. They established embassies in major cities, began cultural exchange programs, and offered solutions to some of humanity's most pressing problems. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, head of the International Technological Exchange Program, worked closely with the Meridian representatives. Their medical technology alone could save millions of lives, she argued during a UN security briefing. "We can't let fear hold us back from this opportunity." But Rivera kept digging. Working with his old friend and cybersecurity expert Kai Patel, they began noticing patterns in the Meridian's behavior that didn't add up. The aliens seemed particularly interested in Earth's military installations and power infrastructure. "Look at this," Kai said one evening, pulling up a series of encrypted transmissions. "They're mapping our defense capabilities, power grids, communication networks, everything we'd need to know to disable a civilization." Before they could present their findings to the Security Council, the Meridian struck. It happened simultaneously across the globe. Every major power grid went dark, military communications were jammed, and their ships, once perceived as elegant diplomatic vessels, revealed their true nature as weapons of war. The invasion was swift and calculated. Millions died in the first wave as the Meridian deployed weapons that turned our own infrastructure against us. The few military installations that managed to launch counterattacks found their missiles passing harmlessly through Meridian shields, their technology far beyond anything humanity had prepared for. Rivera and Kai barely escaped Washington, D.C. as it fell, managing to save a handful of key military and scientific personnel, including Elena. As they watched the Capitol burning from the safety of an underground bunker in the Appalachian Mountains, Elena's voice broke the heavy silence. "I was wrong," she whispered, her hands trembling. "We trusted them, and I helped them understand our weaknesses." Rivera placed a hand on her shoulder. "You couldn't have known. None of us could have seen the full picture. But now we know what we're dealing with, and that gives us an advantage they don't expect." Kai was already setting up their secure communications network, linking with other survival groups across the country. "The Meridian think they've won," he said, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "They think they've broken us. But they don't understand human nature." Reports began filtering in from around the world. While major cities had fallen, resistance groups were already forming. Military units had gone underground, scientists were salvaging what technology they could, and ordinary citizens were fighting back with whatever means they had available. "The Meridian made one crucial mistake," Rivera said, addressing the small group of survivors. "They studied our technology, our infrastructure, our military capabilities, but they never truly understood humanity's greatest strength, our refusal to submit, our ability to unite in the face of overwhelming odds, and our capacity to rise from the ashes stronger than before." As the first day of occupation drew to a close, Rivera and his team began planning their resistance. They had no illusions about the difficulty of their task. They faced an enemy with superior technology and overwhelming military might. But they had something the Meridian couldn't quantify or predict: the indomitable human spirit. In the bunker's dim light, they began drafting what would become known as the Phoenix Protocol, humanity's blueprint for survival and eventual victory. The war for Earth had begun, and humanity would not go quietly into the night. 6 months into the Meridian occupation, humanity had learned to live in the shadows. The resistance network, dubbed GhostNet by Kai Patel, had spread across continents through old shortwave radios and salvage technology. Commander Rivera's bunker in the Appalachians had become one of many command nodes in a web of human defiance. Elena Rodriguez sat in what they now called the War Room, studying captured Meridian technology under the dim glow of emergency lighting. Their power systems operate on principles we never even considered, she explained to the gathered resistance leaders. They don't just use electricity, they harvest quantum fluctuations in spacetime itself. Can we use that against them? Asked Major Diana Foster, a former Air Force pilot who'd saved 3 squadrons worth of personnel during the initial invasion. Her question hung in the air as Elena manipulated a holographic display of Meridian energy signatures. Maybe, Elena replied, her eyes reflecting the blue glow of the hologram. But we need more data. Every piece of their tech we salvage gives us another piece of the puzzle. The resistance had developed a dangerous but effective method of gathering intelligence. Small teams of scavengers, led by people like Carlos Mendez, a former urban exploration enthusiast, would infiltrate occupied cities to retrieve alien technology and gather intelligence. The Meridian are creatures of pattern, Carlos reported during his latest return. His team had just completed a raid on a processing center in what used to be Philadelphia. They follow the same patrol routes, maintain the same schedules. Their precision is their weakness. Kai, who had transformed their cyber warfare capabilities, worked tirelessly to decrypt Meridian communications. They're talking more and more about something called the Awakening, he announced one morning, his face illuminated by multiple screens. Whatever their long-term plan is, it's making them nervous. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Maya Patel, Kai's sister and a quantum physicist, had been studying the behavior of Meridian shields during resistance attacks. Their defensive systems, she explained during an emergency council meeting, they don't just stop our weapons, they phase shift them into another dimension. But the process creates a unique energy signature, like a fingerprint in spacetime. The implications were staggering. If they could track these signatures, they could potentially map every Meridian installation on Earth. But the real victory came when Maya discovered something else. The shields had a rhythm, a pulse that corresponded to Earth's magnetic field. They adapted their technology to our planet, she said, excitement breaking through her usually calm demeanor. But that adaptation might be their undoing. Every system has its resonance frequency, even alien ones. Meanwhile, Commander Rivera had been coordinating with other resistance cells worldwide. The Chinese underground had developed guerrilla tactics that could temporarily disable Meridian sensors. Australian Aboriginal guides had discovered ways to move through the outback undetected by alien surveillance. Brazilian resistance fighters had found creative ways to use the rainforest canopy to ambush Meridian patrols. We're not just fighting for survival anymore, Rivera told his growing command staff. We're learning, adapting, becoming stronger. Every day, we understand more about their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. The resistance faced its share of setbacks. A raid on a Meridian research facility in the former Chicago zone ended in disaster when their presence triggered a new type of autonomous defense system. The loss of the entire strike team hit morale hard, but it also provided crucial intelligence about Meridian defensive capabilities. Elena worked day and night to integrate their growing understanding of alien technology with human ingenuity. She collaborated with Maya on developing what they called resonance disruptors, devices that could potentially interfere with Meridian shield harmonics. The Meridian think they've won because their technology is superior, Elena said during a strategy session. But they don't understand that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology, it's our creativity, our ability to adapt, to think in ways they never considered. As the first year of occupation drew to a close, the resistance had grown from scattered survival groups into a coordinated global movement. They had databases of meridian patrol patterns, maps of their installations, and a growing understanding of their technology. More importantly, they had hope, not just of survival, but of victory. In the bunker's command center, Rivera studied the global situation map, now marked with hundreds of resistance cells. The Meridian thought they were invading a planet, he said to his assembled staff. Instead, they've awakened a force they never accounted for in their calculations, human determination. The resistance was growing stronger, but their greatest challenges, and opportunities, still lay ahead. As Maya's research into Meridian shield technology progressed and Elena's teams developed new weapons, they were approaching a turning point in the war. The time for merely surviving was coming to an end. Soon, humanity would be ready to fight back. The underground laboratory complex, carved deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, hummed with activity. 18 months into the occupation, Project Phoenix had grown from a desperate idea into humanity's greatest hope. Dr. Maya Patel stood before a massive quantum computer display, watching as simulations of her resonance theory played out across multiple screens. The breakthrough came when we stopped trying to break their shields, Maya explained to the assembled military and scientific leadership. Instead, we learned to dance with them. The holographic display showed waves of energy moving in complex patterns, like ripples in a cosmic pond. Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, holding what looked like an ordinary rifle but contained technology that would have been impossible to create before the invasion. We call it the harmonic disruptor, she said, her voice carrying a mix of pride and caution. It doesn't try to penetrate their shields, it synchronizes with them, creating a feedback loop that causes their own defensive systems to collapse. The weapon represented more than just a technological advancement. It was proof that humanity could not only understand Meridian technology but improve upon it. The project had required a global effort, quantum processors built in hidden Japanese facilities, metamaterials developed by European resistance scientists, and power cells reverse-engineered from captured Meridian tech by Brazilian researchers. Commander Rivera watched the demonstration with intense focus. How many can we produce? That's where Kai's contribution comes in, Elena replied, nodding to the cyber warfare expert who had dark circles under his eyes from countless sleepless nights. Kai stepped forward, triggering a new hologram that showed a network of automated manufacturing facilities. We've reprogrammed captured Meridian fabrication units in 12 different locations, he explained. Once we upload the final designs, we can produce thousands of units within weeks. But Project Phoenix wasn't just about weapons. Dr. Marcus Wong had led a team developing what they called ghost suits, adaptive camouflage systems that could mask both visual signatures and the quantum energy readings that Meridian sensors detected. The suits aren't perfect, Marcus cautioned, demonstrating the technology on a volunteer. But they'll give our strike teams a fighting chance at getting close enough to use the disruptors. The project had come at a heavy cost. 3 research facilities had been discovered and destroyed by the Meridian. The loss of brilliant minds like Dr. Sarah Hansen and her quantum mechanics team in Oslo had almost derailed the entire project. But each setback only strengthened humanity's resolve. Major Diana Foster had been running combat simulations with prototype equipment. The key is synchronization, she reported. Individual disruptors have limited effect, but multiple units firing in harmony can create cascade failures in their defensive systems. The implications were clear, they would need to coordinate attacks across multiple sites simultaneously. It would be the largest synchronized military operation in human history, all conducted from underground bases and hidden facilities. Carlos Mendez and his scout teams had been crucial in mapping Meridian response patterns. They're expanding, he reported during a strategic briefing. Building something massive in the Sahara. Whatever their awakening is, it's accelerating. Time was running out. The Meridian's activity had increased dramatically in recent months. New structures were appearing in strategic locations across the globe, and their energy consumption had skyrocketed. "We've intercepted fragments of their internal communications," Kai announced one morning, his face grim. "The awakening isn't just a project, it's a weapon. They're building something that could permanently alter Earth's magnetic field." The revelation galvanized the resistance. Project Phoenix shifted into its final phase, with production facilities working around the clock. Training centers hidden in abandoned mines and underground bunkers prepared special forces teams to use the new technology. Elena and Maya worked tirelessly to refine the disruptor technology, pushing the boundaries of their understanding of quantum mechanics and electromagnetic theory. The Meridian's mistake, Elena observed during a late-night testing session, was thinking that superior technology alone guarantees victory. They never considered that their technology could be turned against them. Commander Rivera coordinated with resistance leaders worldwide, preparing for what would become known as Operation Thunderstrike. The plan was audacious: simultaneous attacks on major Meridian installations across the globe, using their own technological principles against them. "We're not just fighting for survival anymore," Rivera told his officers during the final briefing. "We're fighting for our future, for our right to exist as a free species." The Meridian thought they could subjugate us through superior technology, but they're about to learn that humanity's greatest strength isn't our tools, it's our spirit. As Project Phoenix entered its final stages, a sense of anticipation filled the resistance networks. They had done what the Meridian had believed impossible: taken alien technology and transformed it into something new, something uniquely human. The question wasn't if they would strike back, but when, and the answer was coming sooner than anyone expected. Operation Thunderstrike began at dawn, coordinated to the millisecond across every time zone. Major Diana Foster led the first wave, her strike team emerging from hidden mountain bases in the Rockies. They moved like ghosts through the morning mist, their adaptive camouflage suits rendering them nearly invisible to Meridian sensors. "Strike teams in position," her voice whispered across the secure quantum channel that Kai had developed. Similar confirmations echoed from resistance cells worldwide: the Amazon, the Urals, the Australian outback, the Sahara. Humanity's hidden army was ready. Commander Rivera stood in the Central Command bunker, watching as thousands of green dots on the global tactical display indicated ready teams. "Remember," his voice carried to every resistance fighter, "synchronization is everything. Wait for the signal." The Meridian had grown complacent during their occupation. Their patrols maintained precise schedules, their defense systems operated on predictable frequencies, and their attention had turned increasingly toward their mysterious awakening project. They never expected their own technological principles to be used against them. Dr. Maya Patel's voice came through the command channel: "Quantum harmonics aligned. Shield frequencies locked." She had developed the algorithms that would coordinate the global attack, ensuring maximum impact from their limited resources. "On my mark," Rivera commanded, watching as the final seconds ticked down. The timing had to be perfect, their one chance to strike before the Meridian could adapt. 3, 2, 1. Execute. Across the globe, thousands of harmonic disruptors activated simultaneously. The weapons didn't so much fire as sing, creating intricate patterns of energy that interacted with Meridian shields in ways that even Elena hadn't fully predicted. The effect was devastating. In New York, Carlos Mendez watched from a hidden observation post as massive Meridian structures began to shimmer and fade, their supposedly impenetrable barriers collapsing under the synchronized assault. "Primary targets destabilizing," he reported, his voice tight with controlled excitement. The Meridian response was immediate but confused. Their defensive systems, designed to repel conventional attacks, struggled to cope with weapons that used their own technological principles. For the first time since the invasion, they seemed vulnerable. "Second wave, go." Major Foster ordered. Teams of resistance fighters, armed with conventional weapons modified with Elena's quantum innovations, struck at now exposed Meridian positions. The aliens' superior technology, for so long their greatest advantage, had become their weakness. But the Meridian weren't defeated easily. In orbit, their massive ships began emergency maneuvers, attempting to provide reinforcement to ground installations. Kai's cyber warfare teams struck at their communication networks, using algorithms derived from captured alien data protocols to sow confusion and discord. They're adapting. Elena's voice cut through the tactical chatter. Shield frequencies are shifting. Compensating now. Her team worked frantically to update the harmonic disruptor settings, staying ahead of the Meridian defensive adjustments. The battle raged across every continent. In Singapore, resistance fighters led by Dr. Marcus Wong used reprogrammed Meridian manufacturing facilities to produce combat drones that swarmed their former masters. In Cairo, hidden teams struck at the massive construction project that would have housed the awakening weapon. Commander Rivera coordinated the global assault from the bunker, redirecting forces as needed, adapting strategies as the Meridian attempted to counter their attacks. They're falling back to secondary positions, he observed. Push the advantage. The tide turned decisively when Maya's quantum sensors detected a critical vulnerability in the Meridian command structure. Their regional control nodes are linked, she exclaimed. If we can overload one with enough synchronized disruptor fire, we might trigger a cascade failure. Major Foster's team, now deep inside former Meridian territory, volunteered for the crucial strike. We'll need every disruptor we can get, she said, gathering additional units from nearby teams. And perfect timing. The assault on the control node was perhaps the most ambitious operation of the entire day. 50 teams, approaching from different angles, had to fire their disruptors at exactly the same moment. The timing had to be precise to the microsecond. Quantum sync confirmed, Maya reported as the teams moved into position. Everyone locked on target. The combined discharge of 50 harmonic disruptors created a sound like reality itself was being torn apart. The Meridian control node, a massive structure that had dominated the Denver skyline for 2 years, didn't so much explode as implode, collapsing in on itself as its quantum fields turned inward. The effect rippled through the Meridian network. Across the globe, their remaining installations began to fail, their perfectly ordered systems falling into chaos. Their ships in orbit, cut off from ground control and faced with attacks they couldn't comprehend, began emergency protocols never before seen by human observers. As the sun set on different parts of the world, humanity had achieved what the Meridian had thought impossible. We had beaten them at their own game, using their own technological principles against them in ways they never imagined possible. But even in victory, Commander Rivera remained cautious. Hold positions, he ordered. This isn't over yet. He knew the Meridian still had forces in orbit and installations they hadn't yet reached. The war wasn't won, but for the first time since the invasion, victory seemed possible. The aftermath of Operation Thunderstrike revealed both victory and a new crisis. While humanity had dealt a devastating blow to Meridian ground forces, their orbital fleet had initiated what Kai called a scorched earth protocol. Massive ships descended into low orbit, preparing for what appeared to be a final, devastating attack. They're positioning themselves over major population centers, Elena reported, studying data from surviving satellite networks. Energy readings are off the charts. Whatever they're planning, it's bigger than anything we've seen before. Commander Rivera gathered his core team in the bunker's command center. Maya's quantum sensors painted a grim picture. The Meridian ships were generating power signatures that threatened to tear holes in the fabric of spacetime itself. They're not trying to conquer Earth anymore, Maya explained, her voice grim. They're trying to destroy it. The awakening wasn't just a weapon, it was a failsafe. If they couldn't have our planet, no one would. But humanity had one final card to play. During the ground offensive, Carlos's teams had captured intact sections of Meridian quantum communications technology. Dr. Marcus Wong had made a crucial discovery while studying them. Their ships are still connected to their home system, Marcus explained, bringing up complex diagrams. They're receiving constant quantum encrypted commands. If we can hijack that signal. Kai immediately grasped the implications. We could send our own commands. But we'd need to break encryption that's beyond anything we've ever seen. That's when Elena revealed what she'd been working on in secret. We don't need to break it, she said, pulling up designs on the main screen. We just need to amplify it. The Meridian ships are already in a quantum-entangled state with their home system. If we can create enough quantum interference. The plan was audacious. Using salvaged Meridian technology and human ingenuity, they would attempt to turn the entire planet into a quantum resonance chamber. The risk was enormous. If they failed, they might trigger the very destruction they were trying to prevent. Major Foster led teams to position modified harmonic disruptors at key points around the globe, each one recalibrated to Maya's exact specifications. Meanwhile, Kai and his cyber warfare experts prepared to flood Meridian communications with carefully crafted quantum noise. Everyone in position, Rivera announced as the final preparations were made. Above them, Meridian ships had begun their attack sequence, their massive forms blocking out the sun in many parts of the world. Initiating quantum resonance in 3, 2, 1. Maya's voice was steady as she activated the global network. The effect was immediate and unprecedented. The modified harmonic disruptors created a planetary-scale quantum field that interacted with the Meridian ships' entangled communications. The aliens' own quantum technology, meant to ensure perfect coordination, became their undoing. Confusion spread through the Meridian fleet as contradictory commands flooded their networks. Ships began to move erratically, their perfectly synchronized actions falling into chaos. Some began powering down their weapons, while others attempted to retreat to higher orbits. It's working! Elena exclaimed, watching as the energy signatures from the ships began to fluctuate wildly. Their quantum entanglement is cascading back through their entire network. The effect spread beyond Earth's orbit, racing across space at quantum speeds. The Meridian ships, their command structure in chaos and their weapon systems compromised, began to withdraw. Humanity had not just defended Earth, they had demonstrated that they could threaten the Meridian's entire interstellar empire. Hours later, as the last Meridian ship disappeared from their sensors, the true magnitude of their victory became clear. They had not only repelled the invasion but had forced one of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations to retreat. In the months that followed, humanity began to rebuild. The captured Meridian technology, combined with their own innovations, accelerated Earth's technological development by centuries. More importantly, they had learned crucial lessons about unity, resilience, and the power of human creativity. Commander Rivera stood with his team atop the restored SETI facility, watching the sunset. Elena was already working on adapting Meridian quantum technology for peaceful purposes. Maya's understanding of quantum physics had advanced human science by generations. Kai's cyber warfare innovations had revolutionized global communications. They thought technology alone made them superior, Rivera reflected, looking at the stars that now held both promise and challenge. They never understood that true strength comes from something deeper, our ability to adapt, to think creatively, to face impossible odds and find a way forward. A year after the invasion began, humanity had not just survived, they had emerged stronger, more united, and ready to take their place among the stars. The Meridian had intended to conquer Earth, but had instead awakened a new power in the galaxy, one that combined the best of human ingenuity with advanced technology. As night fell, new satellites, built with a combination of human and Meridian technology, took up orbit around Earth. They were not just defensive systems but beacons, broadcasting a clear message to the galaxy: humanity was ready for whatever challenges the universe might bring. The Book of Defiance had gained its final chapter, but humanity's story was just beginning. The stars, once distant and mysterious, now beckoned with both promise and challenge. And this time, humanity would meet the future on their own terms.